just making sure you're not muted, right?
Hello, everyone. So let's see how every class will start. The way we start every class is you ask the questions that you had. If you have any questions from the homework, please go ahead and ask. We start by going over them, and then I will introduce the new material. So if you have questions, either put them on chat or unmute yourself, tell me the problem, and then I cannot understand you, it's cutting out.
I can hear you fine.
Okay, so can we go over the questions from 1.1? All right, so section 1.1, we go through them one by one. So the first question is, let A denote the set of all people living in Chicago, and let B the set of all telephone numbers. Let F assign to each person their telephone number. Is this a function? So what do you think?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, assuming that every person have one phone number, so their cell phone number, then it will be yes. 2, let A denote all the people who were alive in 2010. And let B denote all the real numbers. And F does the following. To every person, they will associate their weight during the year. Is F a function?
No.
Do you agree with him? Do you agree it's not a function? Okay, justify your answer. You are correct. Justify your answer.
Sure, because I said because the inputs can't have multiple outputs in 2010.
Can, not cannot. Can.
Oh, can have multiple outputs, so weights in 2010.
Right, because the weight vary throughout the year. None of us has a fixed weight. So if you ask me what's your weight during the year 2010, they did not say the average weight. They said the weight. I told you, I don't know which day because my weight changed a lot. Sometimes I eat a lot of ice cream and sometimes I don't. So since every output have every input have multiple output because the weight changes, it's not a function. Okay? So the answer is it's not a function because for every input, the output is not the same because the weight changes throughout the year. Okay? So it's not a function. Now, 3. Let A denote the set of all people who are living or dead. And B, the set of all people also who are living or dead. And F is the function that to every person, they assign their biological mother. Is F a function? Yes or no?
It is because every input only has one output.
Exactly. It is a function because every person has one biological mother. No question asked. So absolutely, it is a function. Any other questions from the homework?
Can we go over question 1 from 1.2,
Yes.
the letter D?
Okay. Again, I will pull the homework because I'm not going to rewrite it, and we read the problem carefully and we go on. So this is your homework. a first grade teacher had 30 children in her class. She lined them up so that they are in alphabetical order by their last name. So usually that's what they do in class.
So you're posting this page on Brightspace soon?
If you have the book, those are the problems from the book itself.
But I don't have the book.
Then I have uploaded those sections from the book. So if you go to Brightspace, I have those on Brightspace. I have section 1.1, 1.2, and 1.3. So even if you don't have the book, they are on Brightspace. Are you with me? Okay. So a first grade teacher have 30 children in her class. She lined them up so they are in alphabetical order by their last name. Makes sense. Now let's see. The first child in the line is Maria Alvarez, and the last is Jack Smith. So the teacher is lining them up. So she have Maria Alvarez. It's in A, so it's that the first, and then line them up, line them up. So that's the first in line. And then she have 30 children. The last student is Jack Smith. So the last letter is S in this class. Okay? Now, answer the following question. Let F be the function that is assigned to each student the first letter of their name. So F does the following. So every student, so that's what F does. That's the assignment. Take a student and it assigns first letter or first name. So we're understanding this assignment. What does G do? G is the function that assigns to each student in the class the first letter of their last name. Okay, so G does the following. It takes a student, it assigns something to it, and G is assigning the first letter of last name. Okay, so that's the situation we have. And now the question is, answer the following. What's G of Maria Alvarez? So once we understand what the function does, we can answer all the questions. So what's G of Maria Alvarez? Quickly, absolutely A. It's the first letter of the last name. G of Maria is A. What is F of Jack Smith? What does F do?
J.
Right, the first letter of the first name. Right, very good. So now we understand what this assignment does. Now we're going to answer questions here. Now the question is there a student, is there a student such that G of X equal to T? So can I find a student such that when I find G of the student, I get the letter T?
No.
Okay, I'm getting a no because what does G do? Let us remember what G does. For every student is assigned something. What does it assign to it? It's the first letter of their last name. That's why G of Maria Alvarez is the A, because that's the first letter of her last name. That's what's happening. So now, of course, I'm getting correct answers. Can I find a student whose last name starts with the letter T? That's how you interpreted this. Can I find a student? Can I find whose last name start with the letter T? That's what the question is really asking, because that's what G does. So everybody is telling me no, everybody is correct, because the student, when professor, whatever her name, lined them up, the last student was Jack Smith. It means there is no student whose last name starts with the letter T. because when you put them in order, that's the last student. So there is, and they are in alphabetical order by last name. But there is no student that starts with the letter T. So the students are correct. No, because the last one is Jack Smith. I mean, there is nobody with last name start with the letter T. Okay. So let's keep going. D. I think that's the question originally. I forgot. Can you find two students, different students, X and Y, such that G of X equal G of Y? What does this mean? Is it possible, or can you find two students X and Y such that both have their last name start with the same letter? Can you find X and Y? So can you give me two students, X and Y, whose last name is the same, whose last name start with the same letter? Last name start with the same letter. Okay, what do you think? We don't know all their name. All right, this is a tricky question. That's the only tricky questions in the class. All right.
I said it's possible, but not with the names that we were given.
Right, we don't, absolutely. But should you find one? Are we sure we can find them? And why?
I don't know why we're using names as examples. Why not just use like numbers and letters like we
will
previously did?
eventually. We will eventually. Just for the first week, so you understand functions. Don't worry about that. Now that's to understand this assignment. So the question is, can you find two students whose last names start with the same letter?
Not with the information that we were given.
Yes, actually we can.
Oh, really?
Because Alvarez is the same, right? The first. And we have how many students? 30.
30.
And the last one is Smith, correct? How many letters in the alphabet are there?
26.
How many letters in the alphabet are there? There are 26 letters in the alphabet, right?
Yes.
I have 30 students and I only have 26 letters in the alphabet. What's gonna happen?
There's going to be duplicates.
Exactly.
Oh.
We have to have duplicates. We have to have that. It means at least two students should have, their last name should be in the same letters because we only have 26 and I have 30 of them. So there is no way out. Two students, their last name should be exactly start with the same letter. That's really what's happening. That's why this question is tricky. I don't know who they are, but I know that somewhere there is because I have more students than I have letters in the alphabet.
Professor Elias,
Yes.
if we were like further in and you were grading this, would you take if we said it was possible instead of saying there must be, or would you mark it like?
The honesty, I mean, I will not ask this question because this is really tricky, but the answer should be yes. Yeah, so I will take points. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. So that was the hardest question, if my memory is correct. Now, this is the rest. I don't think it's very hard. We will look at them carefully. And the question that if X is a student and G of X is A and F of X is B, sorry, then what are the initials of the student? Now, if we understand what the function does, we understand we can answer this question clearly. So once we know what F does, we understand. We have a student. I don't know what's the name. I'm not supposed to know. And this student, G of X is A. What does this mean? It means this student is the first letter of his last name is A. And F of X is B. What are the initials? I'm tired. It's BA. Is she correct? Are those his initials?
Yes.
Absolutely correct. Because if f of x of this student is B, it means the first letter of the first name is B. G of x is A, it means the first letter of the last name is A. The initials are BA. Absolutely correct for this answer. Now, if x and y are student, and f of x is C, f of x, as you realize, I'm always going back. What's f doing? It means the first letter of the first name of x is C. And y is another one. The first letter of his first name is D. And the question then, who is ahead in the line, x and y? Can we tell?
No, we don't know because they're in order by the last name.
Exactly, we cannot. We don't know. No answers because they are in order by the last name. I don't care what their first name is. Okay. And now the last question is, if x and y are student, g of x is C, means the first letter of the last name is C. G of y is D. It means the student y, the first letter is of his last name is D. Then who is ahead in the line, x or y? Student x or student y? So student x, the first letter in his last name is D. Student y, the first letter in his last name is D. So who's going to be ahead? Absolutely student x. Okay, so it's really about understanding. Understanding function is about understanding this assignment that is really going on. All right? Okay, so today we're going to work more with numbers because, except for the quiz, because a lot of you are asking me about numbers. So we're going to keep working with numbers. So, sorry. I'm done with the book. So now we're going to, so functions, which are this assignment that we'll be talking about, this rule, you give it an input, you assign to it an output, can be given like we've been doing in section 1.1, 1.2 verbally, we tell you what it does. And as we know, and that's what you guys are asking me for, function can be given very much by a formula. So we're gonna work on that today. So suppose we have a function, f of x, and f is given by the following formula. X squared plus 6. Okay, what does this mean? F is a rule. It means my f, you give it an input, whatever you give it, it's going to assign something to it. It will assign whatever you give it, square it, and then add 6 to it. That's really what we do. So let us work a little bit with this function. So suppose I ask you a very simple question. What does this function do to -1? Very simple. Okay, what does the function do? It takes what you give it, which is -1, square it, and add 6 to it. So, which gonna give me 1 plus 6, which is equal to 7. Okay, let's find another one, f of 4. What does f do to 4? Can you please give me the answer? It takes 4,
Where is it?
square it, add 6 to it. So what it does to it is it takes 16, add 6 to it, giving me 22. So those are the easy function. It means function that there is a formula that we can find it. All right, let's work a little bit more with this function. Suppose I ask you the following. So, okay, so my first question, I gave the function -1 and my function gave me 7. That's really what my first question is. My second is, if you give it -4, what it will give you, it gives us 22. Now my question is, find all numbers C, such that f will take those C's to 8. what am I asking for in this particular problem? So now I'm going to ask, find all the numbers that my function f will take to 8. That's really what I'm asking for in this particular problem. So how can I find all those numbers? Okay, so to be able to find them, we will proceed as follows. We're gonna, what does f do to c? So we're gonna set c squared plus 6 equal to 8, and we solve for c. Okay, so this time I'm telling you where I wanna go, but I'm telling you which input will give me this 8. I'm asking after the input that gives me the 8. Okay, now let us solve. How do we solve that? Of course, in this particular scenario, we will isolate the c squared, 8 minus 6, which give me c squared equal to 2. So which input will spit out the output of 2 now? So which number I should put here to get it 2? I'm listening.
Square root of 2.
That's square root of 2. Does anybody has any objection to that?
The negative.
It's gonna be plus or minus. So either square root of 2 or minus the square root of 2. There are two values. So c is the square root of 2, or c is the negative square root of 2. So there are two inputs which gonna give me the output of 8. Now let us check. Let's check. What do I mean to check? The check is that, does this input give me 8? So checking it means I'm gonna compute f of that. Ask myself, do I get 8? All right, what f does? F takes a number and it squares it. That's what it does. And add 6 to it. Now, if you take square root of 2, you multiply by square root of 2, this is definitely a 2 equal to 8. Now let's check the other one. What's that? So what does this do to it? Minus the square root plus 6, all right? So it's equal to what? What's minus the square root of 2? It means minus square root of 2 times it was minus the square root of 2. Now, of course, minus and minus will give me a plus. Square root of 2 and square root of 2 is give me a 2, which is equal to 8. So we're just checking that our answers are absolutely making sense. So the input of square root of 2 and minus square root of 2 are those who are going to give me an output of 8. Okay? All right. So, so what we're doing now is actually learning how to work with functions which are given by a formula. So let me do one more problem example. So again, I'm working with exact same function. I am not really changing it. So it was x squared plus 6. And now my question is the following. Let t be a number, just a number, but I'm going to call it t because we have to learn how to work with functions very symbolically. And my question is find and simplify f of t plus 4, for example. Okay, so we're going to find it and we're going to learn how to simplify it as well. Okay, I will slow down. All right. So what does f do? So what's f of t plus 4? Okay, what does f do? Whatever you give it, whatever you put in here, it's going to square it. So if I put t plus 4 between those parentheses, f will take it and square it. Whatever you give it, it's going to square. Okay, so this will go here. And then add 6 to it. All right, so that's the setup. Now we're going to simplify it a little bit because we have to. Very good. How do we simplify it? What do I mean by simplifying it? T plus 4 square means you take t plus 4 and you multiply it by t plus 4. Okay. And this will give me what? Some of you maybe, of course, memorize the answer and some don't. So we're going to distribute and see what we get. It's t squared, t times t plus 4t, right? Plus, now I'm going to distribute this way, plus 4t plus 16 plus 6. All right, so now finally, what should we do? We combine, as we call them, like term. That's the t squared. That's 4 plus 4, give me the 8t, plus, okay, 16 plus 6, 16 plus 6 is 22, okay? So in those type of problems, we're actually practicing how to manipulate functions when we have a formula, not, you know, verbally like we did prior to that. So as you guys know, I emailed you a worksheet yesterday and I told you either to print it so it will become very clear to us, and yes. Okay, so please either show it up. So it's the first worksheet, worksheet number 3. And we are going to work on it together. All right? Do you guys have it?
Excuse me, Professor Elias. So
Yes.
is t squared plus 8t plus 22 that's the answer for the problem?
That's the answer. There is
Okay.
nothing else we can do. Absolutely correct. Nothing else we can do. That's it.
All right, thank you.
All right, so please put the worksheet I've asked you to download, to print, whatever is convenient for you. Yes, it should be posted. Go to the content page.
It's posted. I found it.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope, you know, I can goof, but whatever. Okay, very good. So that's gonna work with it. The first question is easy. I'll give you 1 minute to do it, and then I will work it out. Make sure you guys are getting it correctly, okay? So I give you a minute and I'm timing it myself. We don't need more than 1 minute for the first one.
By the first one, you mean just
The
letter
whole
A,
first.
right? Oh, okay.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay. All right, let's see. And you guys make sure you're getting it correctly. So f of minus 3 is 2. What did you guys get? Okay, I'm getting 13, I think.
I got 13.
Okay, minus 3 squared minus 5. So minus 3 squared, it means minus 3 times minus 3, which is 2 times 9 minus 5, 18 minus 5. This is going to give us 13. So if you did not get 13, you did something basically not right. Now f of 0 is fairly simple. It's 2 times 0, that's minus 5. Simple. F of 1, it's 2 times 1 square minus 5, that's a minus 3. And at 2, it's 2 times 2 square minus 5. 2 square is 4, it's 8 minus 5, which is equal to 3. Everybody got the same answers? I hope so. Yeah, very good. Now, B. Find, this is a bit tricky, but it's very easy. Find all numbers C such that f of 3 equal to C. How many numbers should we get?
2,
How come 2?
because you'll have the positive and negative.
No, no, read the question again. What are they asking you for? The input or the output in this problem? The input or the output?
I'm not sure.
Find, or yes, find the number C such that C is equal to f of 3. So C is what? Is it an input value or an output value? It is an output value because C is nothing more than f of 3. F of 3 is the number you assign to 3. So find all numbers such that C equal f of 3. So here we are basically asking for the output that correspond to the input 3. As simple as that. Okay, so C here is an output value because C is f of 3. C is f of 3. I'm not asking you to find, I'm just asking you basically to find f of 3. That's really an output value. So what is f of 3? So what's C? So C is nothing more than f of 3. It means 2 times 3 squared minus 5. It means 2 times 9 minus 5. It means it's 18 minus 5, which is equal to 3. Okay, so this question, find all numbers C such that C equal f of 3, means basically they are asking you for the output that corresponds to the input 3, because f of 3, that's an output value. That's not an input value, and that is one of them.
So this is basically the same question as the first one to
Absolutely correct.
question A, but you're inputting C into it, that you're basically finding C as
As f of 3. Absolutely correct. It's
The answer would be 13, not 3, correct?
Thank you very much. You're absolutely correct. They are just basically asking for f of 3, but they are make the goal of this question is to make sure you actually understand what's really going on. So they want to find a number C such that C is f of 3. Basically means find f of 3. As simple as that.
Usually I'm really terrible at math, but you're explaining it like really well. Like,
thank you very much. C. What's the difference? Why are the answers at the bottom different? Which answers?
C is an input.
Right. Find all numbers C such that f of C equal to 0. What are they asking you? C is the input now. So what they are asking you for? They're asking you for the C that spits out 0. That spits out the output 0. So how do we solve this? How do we solve this? Here, we're going to set f of C equal to 0 and solve for C. So I'm going to ask myself, what's the input I should put here so the output will be 0? How do we do that? We set f of C equal to 0 and solve for C. What does it mean? It means I'm going to set 2 times C squared minus 5 equal to 0 and solve for C. That's what we have. So let us solve it. Now, how do we solve that? It's 2c squared equal to 5. Now we divide by 2 both sides, which will give me c squared is 5 over 2. And then I solve for c. So I'm asking myself which input I should put here to give me the output of 0. So now let me solve for c. So if c squared is that, it means my c is either the positive square root of 5/2 or the minus square root of 5/2. So I have two different input that will spit out an output of 0. So contrast between B and C. B, they are giving you the input of 3. You're finding the output. It means you plug in 3 into the formula. In this part, they're asking you for the input that spits out an output of 0. How do you do that? You set the function equal to 0 and you solve for C. Now, I want you to do part D, and I'm going to give you a minute to do that on your own. First, you ask yourself, does she want the input or the output? And then figure it out. So get going. Okay, are we ready? Okay, I should do it myself so I can see if you guys got it right. Now, once you get an answer, you should check if you're getting it correctly. And checking is part of understanding. Okay, I'm getting some are not correct. Some are still confusing the input and the output. And some are definitely getting it correct. If you get negative in the square root, it means that you cannot find a C such that f of C equal to 3. If you are. Okay. Now everybody getting a 2, not too bad. So let us understand. Question number 1, are they asking, what are they giving us? Are they giving us the input or they are giving us the output? Ask my question, they are giving us, okay, output. It means that when they give me the input, let me get that straight because it is confusing. When they give me the input, it means the following. Means they put like this. If they tell me find C such that C is f of 3, it means they are giving me the input. So I just plug in. But if they tell me find C such that f of C equal to 3, that's a totally different problem. Here they are giving me the output of 3 and they want me to find the input. So f of 3, if they put the 3 between the parentheses inside f, it means find the output. However, if they tell me find a C such that f of C, it means the function assigned to C, the number 3, in this case, they want me to find the input. That's what they want, to find the input that give an output of 3. That's the question here. Very good. So find all numbers such that f of C equal to 3. So how do we do it? We don't want to guess. You can guess, but you know, we cannot always guess. It means here, we're going to set 2c squared minus 5, so that's f of c, equal to 3, and solve for c. Because I'm gonna ask which input, what should I put here so that this whole thing will bring 3 for me. Now let us solve it. Very good. How do we solve? We're gonna add 5 both sides. We're gonna add 5 both sides. It means 2c squared equal. If I add 5, 3 plus 5, this would give me the 8. And then we're gonna divide by 2, which give me the 8 divided by 2, both sides would give me 4. And now we have to find the c. So the c will be equal to 2 values actually. The minus the square root of 4 and minus the square root of 4. But this is an easy number. The square root of 4 is 2 and this minus 2. So c is minus 2 or c is equal to 2. So there are two input values that will give me an output of 3, 2 of them. Now how do we check? I go back and ask myself, what is f of minus 2? If I don't get 3, it means I'm doing something wrong. What's f of minus 2? Okay, my f does what? My f is twice x squared minus 5. So what's f of minus 2? 2 times this minus, I'm just checking now. Means 2 times 4 minus 5. 8 minus 5 equal to 3, so it's correct. Okay, so I plug it back into the equation, I get a 3. You can do the same for 2. Okay, all right, part E. If t is a number, find f of the quantity t plus 2, simplify your answer. If there is a square root, does that mean you will always, yeah, whenever you're solving something like c squared equal to 4, it means you're asking yourself which values, which number, when you square it, you get 4. Okay, 2 of course. And at the same time, minus 2. That means there are 2 numbers here that will satisfy the equation equal to 4, the 2 and the minus 2. So the solution is gonna be plus or minus 2. Yes, all right. Okay, E, get going. You have 2 minutes, and then I will make sure you guys get it correct. Okay, please, when I'm giving you time to do it, make sure all of you are doing it. That's the only way you will be learning with me. Okay. All right. Ready? Let's go. So this is my function. I always put it in front of us all the time to make sure we're doing it. And minus 5. Yes. So f of t plus 1 no, f of t plus 2, my apology. F of t plus 2 will be equal to, again, that's the input. So I think what f does to the input, it takes it, whatever you give it in it, it's square, and take away 5 from it. So this should be whatever you put inside it. The rest is algebra, and we will do it. T plus 2 squared, it means t plus 2 times t plus 2 minus 5. So that's 2 times. Now I need to distribute. So I'm opening my bracket so I can start distributing. T squared plus the 2t plus 2t plus 4. So I'm trying to do it as slow as, you know, the way you should be doing. So finally, it's going to give me 2 times t squared plus. Now those obviously could be combined to give me a 4t plus 4 minus 5. Okay, finally, our last step is we're going to distribute 2t squared plus 2 times 4, 8t plus 2 times 4, 8 minus 5. The rest would be, so the answer that the student gave me on chat was absolutely correct. All right. So if you guys got this answer, it means you're handling those. If you didn't, I hope next time you do it correctly. Okay. All right. The other worksheet, I will work on it on Tuesday. And probably next week, I think we start having homework, but I need to work on it this weekend to see how to explain it to you, because it's very new to me and to you as well. Now we're gonna take the quiz. In case you couldn't tell, I am a bit slow, but I'm certain, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I have office hours, you guys can come, okay? Now we are going to take the quiz. So how this is going to work. I want you all to go to Brightspace, all of you. And I will share the screen this time. I want you all to go to Brightspace. Okay. And I'm gonna be a little bit in the student view. So I see, hopefully that's what you guys see. You go to content. Are you all with me? Content. And sorry. Okay. You go to content. And on the left side, you scroll down. Okay, are you with me? You will click on quiz. All of you. You see it? Now, you go to quiz. You click on it. Are you all with me? You have to be with me.
I'm with you.
Okay, and then
Yes.
this one. The quiz is in front of you. Now you take a nice sheet of paper. Now if you can print it, it's fine. If you cannot, I'm not forcing you. You take a nice sheet of paper, very nice sheet of paper, and you do the problems. You only have to answer the questions. You don't have to write them, but you have to label. So I want to see number 1. What is number 1? You don't try to do them in order to make the grading easier. You take the quiz, it should be 1 page. After you're done with that, you scan it, or you take a picture and you upload it into Brightspace. So once you're done with that, you're going to upload it. And uploading should not be hard. Let me see how I can. Okay, that's the uploading button. You click on it and it will upload into Brightspace. All right, get going. I am going to stay with you. The quiz does not need a lot of time, but I'm giving you a lot of time this time. So please get going.
And we need to show all of our work, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. This is an easy quiz, so you just have to explain.
Will notability work?
No, I'm here. Don't worry.
Will notability work?
What?
Will notability work? with this?
I think so. I didn't check it. Just take it on a piece of paper. Yeah, I'm sure it does.
Yellow.
You can try it if you want. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing because if you guys have any questions, I want total silence in class. If you have question to me, you put it on the chat. Is that very clear?